The interim police chief?
Yes, this
Are
is
you
actions of what
talking
he,
about
this is what he,
during his?
this is actions during his
Okay,
tenure.
okay,
Prior to us.
you got me lost.
Right, prior to the Chief Solomon, City Council approved 3 names, not imaginary, we approved 3 people. Those 3 people came before City Council with our interim chief, except for one of the people wasn't one of the people we approved. He's saying he did a background check and substituted one of those people. And we had no information prior to who that was. And so we're trying to get clarity on that process, and that's my question.
The person that was put into place is Don Demon. A background check was done on him, and that's who I submitted to fill the vacancy that we did.
Did he go through the same process as the other 2 officers who were sworn in?
I would say yes, but given that I was not present and did not conduct or do anything for the prior 2, but I looked over the ones and they were fine.
The reason why I asked that question is because I feel like their process was a couple months long. We approved their hiring a couple months ago, and then they weren't ready to be sworn. They hadn't completed the process until recently, and so for him to come on the scene in 30 days and go through that entire process, that's just kind of where I'm missing my push. I just want to be sure that he went through the same vetting and the same process as the other 2.
Yes, sir.
And you saying that did take place?
Yes, sir.
Before, could we get, on the agenda, discuss and take action on the appointment of an interim police chief? Could I ask that we, Mr. Mayor, do you have any recommendations before I ask for us to go into executive session in reference to the appointment of the interim police chief?
Well, I would ask if you could, Chief Ross, and council, I just want to make sure I phrase this right so it fits on some of his most recent activities as police chief.
I think he's actually looking for your recommendation for an interim police chief. A name.
Right, no, but I've got a question or conversation for Chief Ross in that process. In other words, the opportunity for him to share some of his activities so that council has something from which to make a decision. Right now, I don't think it's there, and that's what the item preceding this was for, but because it was misworded, I'm just trying to ask the appropriate way to get him to be able to share. Can I just ask, what have you been doing last week?
I think Councilmember Rowland was looking for a precursor to that. We don't even have anyone recommended by you right now for
the interim chief?
Yes,
Well, I recommend interim Chief Ross for our interim chief.
but that's what I believe.
Okay, I'm sorry, I totally misread, I wasn't sure where we were going since he's already. Okay, so that was on me.
It's not a listed name on the agenda this time, so it needs
Gotcha.
to be formally recommended by you.
Gotcha. Okay, no, I'm recommending the council confirm interim chief Matt Ross as our interim chief while we continue our process. And I would say, when I took office, we didn't have a police chief, and it took 2, maybe 3 months or something like that before going through the selection process and applications, everything, before we found Chief Solomon. So I just wanted to make sure council was aware of that quasi time frame. I mean, I know some of you, many of you have, but we got 3 folks who hadn't been.
Okay, 2 questions.
Yes, sir.
One, can you give us, as far as this is an interim appointment, can we ask the question, can I ask them on where we at in the process, or is that off?
Sure.
So Mr. Ross is the name you're bringing for your interim appointment. You used an emergency 30-day to get us here. In your last 30 days, where are we at with the process on how many applications have we received?
We've received about 7, somewhere around, give or take 7, maybe 6 or 8, something like that. And just vetting them, getting with, as we did previously, a couple of surrounding chiefs to help assist with going through them and what have you. Yes, sir.
I
Councilman
know,
Wallace.
for like city secretary, city attorney, we got some of the applications from a couple of other people. Even though you recommended one person to us, we saw 3 to 5 other applicants. Do you have any other applications from any of the other people that applied to be, interim police chief?
No one applied to be interim, they only applied to be chief.
Or
So
applied
until
to be
we
chief?
vet
Yeah,
them,
yeah.
yeah, we got those, yes. That's no problem, we can share that with council.
So,
Yes, Councilman.
so you mentioned that you had a couple of surrounding chiefs, so there's a committee?
Yeah, similar to what we did
So
last time,
can we
yes.
know who all is on that committee?
Talking with basically the same university chief, Chief Williams and Waller, Chief Hartley and Hempstead.
Okay.
So Hempstead, Waller, and the University Chief James.
Yes.
If nobody has, I would like to move that we go into executive session to talk about the interim appointment for police, well, personnel matters.
Pursuant to Texas Government
Is that
Code
the mayor's?
551.074 personnel matters.
Do I do that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
It needs to be stated by anybody as long as that's the motion.
Second.
Mr. Mayor, you got it.
All those in favor say aye. Opposed have the same right. We're going to convene into executive session. We should be back shortly.